Good evening. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, good evening.
And is that the city clerk?
Yes,
Okay. I'm waiting on the other members to get online at 6 o'clock. And I don't see any of the members' names up here. Are there any ZBA commissioners online?
I see Mac Willis.
Okay. Matt, are you there?
Yes,
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else there?
Finola Williams, present.
Very good. Okay, that's two. I'm trying to reach a quorum so we can have this meeting.
Let's try to give them a few more minutes. Because everyone did say they would attend.
Okay, that's Miss McDaniel. She's online.
Yes.
That's three. That's three.
Hello?
Yes. Who is this? Hello?
Hit star 9. Ruth Williams is trying to get in.
Oh, okay, okay.
You have to hit star 9 and then they'll unmute you. Oh, you're on your
Okay.
iPad. She's on her iPad and she says she can't get in.
Okay, can she hear us?
And you need to unmute her.
Can, Madam City Clerk or the AD?
All right, can you hear me now? No, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, very good.
Roosevelt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
All right, I'm in.
Okay. We have a quorum. Madam City Clerk, can you do a roll call?
Yes. Norma McDaniel.
Present.
Clarence Odom. I don't see him. Roosevelt Stubbs.
Present?
Ruth Williams.
Here,
Vanola Williams.
Present from my home in the city of Inkster, County of Wayne.
Thank you. And Mac Willis.
present here in the city of Inkster, Wayne County.
Very good.
You have 5 and a quorum.
Very good, Madam City Clerk. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
make a motion, we adopt the gender.
I support.
It has been properly moved and supported that we adopt the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
because it's a virtual meeting on
Yeah.
Zoom, we do need to take a roll call for every
Okay.
vote.
All right, for every vote. Roll call for the adoption of the agenda.
Okay. Ruth Williams,
Yes,
Vanola Williams,
Yes.
and Norma McDaniel,
Yes.
and Mac Willis,
Present.
yes or no to accept the agenda.
Yes,
You have 4 votes, Chair.
Very good. Motion is adopted. Everyone has had a chance to review the minutes from September 23rd. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from September the 23rd?
Motion to adopt the minutes from September 23rd.
Support.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Yes. Vanola Williams,
Yes.
Norma McDaniel,
Yes.
Ruth Williams,
Yes.
and Mac Willis.
Yes.
Chair, you have 4.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. The adoption for the minutes have been approved by 4 yes votes. Item number 4 on the agenda. Public hearing. Is there anyone from the public? Hearing. Is someone trying to get in or? Okay, hearing none. Moving right along. Old business. On the agenda, case numbers 21-12, SP, Marijuana Cultivating and Processing Center, Zoning Board of Appeals to review and consider approval, variance of separation standard for a proposed marijuana cultivating and processing center in the M1 Light Industrial District at 2830 Beach Daily Road. Clark Street Investment Group and Gold Wing Logistics are the applicants. Questions?
Question. The variance that's per the ordinance is 300 feet, and I believe the applicant wants 275 feet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I make a motion to deny the variance request of 275 feet and leave it at 300 feet.
Your second? Any support?
Point of,
Support. I'm supporting it. Norma's supporting it. I couldn't get in. I moved myself.
Okay, no problem, no problem. No problem. It has been properly moved and supported to deny the variance for the marijuana and cultivating processing centers. Can we get a roll call vote, Madam City Clerk?
yes. Norma McDaniel,
Yes to deny.
Ruth Williams,
I'm sustaining from the vote.
Vanola Williams,
Voting to deny.
Mac Willis,
I'm voting to discuss it further.
okay, so,
We have Clarence.
as a
Clarence
point
Odom
of
is in.
order,
Clarence Odom is in.
as a point of order, the suggested resolution is to approve the variance at 275 feet. So, the proper order would be to move to support that motion and second it, or not take a motion. So what would be your pleasure?
I would approve it. Because like I said, I would like to know more about it and see if it's ways that it can be door entry or something like that could be changed or anything like that, because we need new business. We need more taxes. So I'm going to vote to approve.
Mr. Chair, this is David Jones, the Inkster City Attorney.
Yes, go ahead.
I was asked to participate in this meeting just to observe and make sure everything was done legal and proper. So this is my first ZBA meeting, so forgive my intrusion. I just want to make sure the record is clear. I think the city clerk mentioned that the motion was to approve the variance. I think there was a motion to deny the requested variance. And then there was a roll call, and Mr. Willis indicated he would like to discuss it further. So I think the proper procedure at this point is for Mr. Willis, if he's looking to discuss it further, maybe approve it, his vote should be no. I just don't want the misstatement that the motion out there is being to approve it, because that's not the motion that was made.
Okay,
So we-
this is Vanola. Should it have been that the first before the motion was?
I don't know if that question was for me, Mr. Chair. I couldn't hear what her question was.
I couldn't either. I couldn't hear it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Williams.
Okay, so we should have opened it up for this, or we made a motion to vote on it. Is that what you're, Attorney Jones? I'm sorry, what's your name?
There was a motion to deny it, and it was
Right.
properly seconded. At that point, you
Yeah.
can have a discussion. I don't know if a discussion happened. You went right into the vote. If Mr. Willis would like to discuss it, the discussion should take place after it was approved, after the motion was second.
Okay. And the motion was denial, and there was a second, and then it's a discussion. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, if the members of the board would like to discuss it, after it's seconded is the proper time to discuss the motion for denial.
Okay. Well, do we need to make the motion?
Okay. This is Norma. We were into the roll call vote at that point, so we missed the discussion period.
That is correct. So there was no discussion. I don't know if I can't recall if it was called for or not, but
It
you were
was
into
not.
the roll call vote.
It was not
So-
called. Discussion was not.
Okay. Correct. So at this point in time, the discussion that Mr. Willis is requesting is improper. He just needs to vote yea or nay.
Correct.
Yes.
Nay.
Okay, and
City Clerk, would you please review the votes again, because
yes, I can review them. I have Norma McDaniel as a yes.
yes to
I
deny,
have
yes to deny.
yes. For Ruth Williams sustained from the vote.
And as a point of order, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. Ms. Williams is voting to abstain from the vote. She needs to put the reason for her abstention on the record.
All right, I'm like Willis. I think we need further discussion on the matter, because 25 feet could be maybe revised by the company and say they'll build another wall and make it 25 feet to the north. So I'm sustaining, because I feel like we need some more discussion on this issue also.
That is not a proper reason to abstain from the vote. A proper reason to abstain from the proposed motion would be that you have a conflict of interest as it relates to the party or the applicant. So at this point, without an evident conflict, you need either to vote yea or nay on the motion.
All right, I'll vote no.
I have Vanola Williams as a yes, and Mac Willis as a no. Clarence Oden has joined us, and I will read the motion over for him. And the motion is to deny the suggested resolution by the by the planning department. So, Mr. Oldham, what is your vote?
Pardon me, the motion was to deny the variance.
Yes. Mr. Oldham, can you hear us?
He's on mute.
Mr. Oldham,
He's unmuted now.
are you
Yes.
prepared to vote?
Yes,
And your vote is?
yes.
Okay, so. Chair, you have 3 yeses to deny and 2 nos. And forgive me, do you have a vote? Mr. Chair?
Yes, he does.
Yes, the chair has a vote.
Did we lose him?
It seems like we did.
Yeah, I don't see him anymore.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Yeah, he's not on anymore.
He'll probably try to get back on.
Yeah, let's give him a few minutes. Troy, can you tell if he's trying to enter?
Yeah, I'm monitoring them now, but nothing as of yet.
Okay.
If anyone has his contact information, can you provide it to me in the chat?
Yeah, I got something for you. Let me try calling first, Troy.
Yeah.
Troy. All right,
Yeah.
I called. Troy, he's not answering. So let me give you a number.
He's been
Can you hear me?
having-
Ruthie, can you text him? Ruthie, can you text him? Normally he doesn't answer if we're in a meeting.
All right, so text him.
Yes.
All right. I texted him. He's not responding.
I know he's been having phone and internet issues.
Who in the waiting room, Troy?
That's both of them. Odin.
Huh?
There's no one in the waiting room. The person that just entered was Delphine Odin.
Okay. He's still, I still don't see him back online.
I wonder if he's trying to use his phone.
Yeah, Madam
He
Clerk.
probably can't get in because I'm not saying he's trying, but I texted him, I called him, and there's nothing happening on his end.
He's
Same here.
phone with
Huh?
AT&T week or so.
Attorney Jones, what do we do in this case?
Austin.
Member McDaniel, I want to make sure that with the loss of member Stubbs, we still have a quorum. Madam Clerk, I sent you a message. Are we still in a quorum? We still have a proper quorum?
We still have a quorum. We don't have a chair.
Right. Is Mr. Stubbs the normal chair of the ZBA? Or is it,
Yeah.
isn't it? He is?
Yes.
Okay. If we still have a quorum, and though we've lost the chair, who's the vice chair?
I don't have that information.
Clarence Oden.
Mr. Odin is the vice chair?
Yes.
Okay. I think it would be proper with the loss of Mr. Stubb, it's still a proper meeting. Since we do have a quorum in place, I think it would be proper to be turned over to Mr. Odin to chair the meeting and carry on. I think Mr. Stubbs, member Stubbs was the only one who had not voted who was present for this meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay, as long as a quorum is present and you have a vote, the way I wrote it down, you had a motion to deny, you had 3 motions to deny and 2 not to deny. Is that correct?
Correct.
So the motion would pass. Now, what I would caution at this point is that no one has articulated the reasons in support of denying the requested variance. And for it to be proper, there are 4 requirements that must be met at this point. And as you know, the applicant can appeal the ZBA's action by going to circuit court. And as long as the decision of the board complies with the laws of the state of Michigan, it's based on proper procedure, and proper procedure I think is present that we have a quorum, which we do. The decision has to be supported by competent material and substantial evidence on the record. Thus far, we voted to deny the variance, so I would urge the body to articulate the reasons for the denial so that the applicant can have adequate grounds to appeal this body's action. If it's found that has not been articulated the reasons for the denial of the variance, the action taken tonight could be undone at the circuit court level.
Okay,
And the decision must be reasonable and within the discretion of the Board of Zoning Appeals. And I believe it obviously is in the discretion of the Board and Zone of Appeals, but you need to articulate reasons as to this action being taken tonight.
okay, this is Commissioner Vanola Williams, the M1 zoning per
I
the
think,
ordinance.
excuse me, Ms. Williams, if
Sorry.
the chair, vice chair is going to take over the meeting, I think it'd be proper for him to step in and say he's resuming the chair responsibility in the absence of Mr. Stubb, and to be properly recognized, he has to recognize the parties he wishes to call on at that time. So Member Oden, if you could indicate that we've lost Mr. Stubbs and have been unable to retrieve him, even though we've tried, that the body is voting, it might be prudent to take a motion to proceed with the meeting in his absence.
Well, I proceed to that extent.
I think it might be proper to take a vote that you want to proceed. You're going to presume the meeting in his absence and that you're going to proceed with the meeting, and then you can call on parties you wish to be recognized.
Mr. Chair, I move that we proceed with the meeting in light of the fact that we've lost our chair, Mr. Co-Chair, I'm sorry. I would, okay.
And I support that.
Madam Clerk, if you want to call a roll and have them vote on that matter.
Yeah. Norma McDaniel,
Yes to proceed with the meeting.
Ruth Williams,
Yes.
Vanola Williams,
Yes,
Mac Willis, Mr. Willis,
No.
Mr. Oden,
Yes.
that's 4 to proceed and 1 nay.
Madam Chair, it appears that Mr. Stubb has entered the waiting room. It looks like he may have made connection again.
okay.
Almost here.
Yeah, he back in, but he's on mute.
We got some power problems over here in my area, so they've been working on our streets, and I don't know, the power went out, but I'm back.
So, Mr. Chair, in your absence, we were taking a motion to proceed with the meeting, if I might, with allowing Mr. Oden to chair the meeting. But when you lost connection, I believe the clerk was requesting your vote, your yay or nay. As it stands now, there are 3 yeses to deny the variance. Your vote was the only one outstanding, and 2 noes as it relates to the motion.
Yes to deny the variance.
Okay, and so I'll repeat, so because you were not connected, it appears the motion has passed with regard to denying the variance, and now we need articulable grounds for the reason this body has taken that action, because as you know, the applicant has a right to appeal to circuit court, and without articulated grounds as to why the body is taking this action could be deemed improper. So I would ask you to call on members who wish to speak as to their grounds for denying the motion. Or denying the variance, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, first of all, I think the city clerk needs to let you know who voted yes and who voted no.
Madam City Clerk?
Norma McDaniel voted yes. Ruth Williams voted no. Vanola Williams voted yes. Mac Willis voted no. Clarence Oden voted yes, and Chairman Stubbs voted yes to deny the variance.
Okay. Anyone would like to speak regarding the yes vote to deny? Any commissioners?
This is Commissioner Vanola Williams. Per the M1 zoning ordinance, per the ordinance, it is to be 300 feet, the variance, and not 275. Per an inspection of the building from the outside that I looked yesterday, he should be able to keep it at, or move it to the 300 feet per the city ordinance.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner McDaniel.
I agree that it should be per the city ordinance, the 300 feet.
Anyone else? Then I will speak. Excuse me, anyone else?
Yeah, I support the 3 feet.
Okay, you say, Commissioner Odom, you said to be 300 feet.
Yes,
I concur. I looked at the building, and I don't see hello? I don't see any hardship, you know, and further, without belaboring this thing, I didn't see any drawings of where they plan to, any drawing of where the door looks like now, where they, you know, and I know they can move it. They wanted to move it north, facing the north instead of east. Is there anyone there that can speak on that? I see Mr. George Stamos has his hand raised.
Mr. Chair, if I might, this is David Jones, the city attorney again. I know the planner, James Gorenflo, is on the meeting. I think he might be the proper party to speak to the applicant's proposals as it relates to the entrance and things like that. I don't know who George Stamos is. I don't think he's with the planning department. I think it'd be proper to hear from our planning department.
Very good. Is he available?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Jamie Gorenflo. I'm with McKenna Associates. I'm filling in for Ashley and Jane this evening.
Okay.
With regard to the question that you've asked about the variance, the location of the door that the applicant is proposing is to be on the east face of the building, facing Beach Daily, and would be in the far northeast corner of the building, as far north as they can possibly move it to the north. That would give the maximum distance possible between the door-to-door situation that the ordinance requires of the 300 feet. Unfortunately, moving that door as far as they possibly can only yields a 275-foot distance. There's no opportunity for them to do anything else with that building structurally or otherwise that would allow that door to be positioned in such a way that it could meet the ordinance requirement. The building is already built to the front setback and already built to the side setback along the north property line. So no additional building could be added to create that 25 additional feet separation distance. I would like to share with you something that I put together. As you know, the Planning Commission did approve this site plan. And they did approve a modified wall for the site plan, which is to encompass or enclose the entire property, which would prevent anybody from entering the property from the south or any other direction, and would require people, if they were to leave that residence in question, would require them to walk all the way around the perimeter of the property to actually get into the front door of the facility. So let me see if I can share my screen here a second. And if you can see what I'm showing you on the plan, you can see the house on the south side. You can see the white line that delineates what the path would need to be in order for a pedestrian to circumvent the fence that will be installed around the entire property. The applicant intends to keep the gates at the entrance, so somebody would need to let somebody in through those gates in order for them to enter the property. But if you follow the line and the path that I've traced out, you can see that if you follow that line, the distance from door to door of the proposed location is nearly 500 feet. So that distance would far exceed the 300-foot radial distance that's required by the ordinance. So there's a matter of practicality here in terms of how that ordinance is applied. Technically, they do not meet the 300-foot isolation distance as it's required by ordinance, but a practical application to this would suggest that the 300-foot is not applicable because the actual distance people would have to travel to get from door to door is nearly 500 feet once the applicant moves that door to the far north side of the building. If you notice also that last dot that I'm showing that shows that 497-foot mark, that is right at the edge of the setbacks for the north side or for the side yard setback, and that's also at the front yard setback. So there's no other place that they could add additional building to satisfy the radial 300-foot isolation distance. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Okay, this is Commissioner Benola Williams. I have a question. You said something about they're putting up a wall.
The site plan requires for this type of use in this facility that the entire property be enclosed with an 8-foot high wall. In this particular case, the Planning Commission accepted a variance or a waiver request for the applicant to install an 8-foot high chain link fence, which will be covered with 100% opaque polyvinyl screen that runs from the top to the bottom. So it will be completely opaque and 8 feet tall all around the entire perimeter of the site.
Okay, and in 2017, this same owner was supposed to put up and fix the fence that was there, and they haven't done it, and it's been 4 years, and it's propped up with 2x4s. So I'm a little leery that they'll put this wall up, because on the south side of the building, it abuts 7 houses in the neighborhood, their backyards.
I understand that, and it's a valid concern. Certainly, the city has the opportunity to not grant a certificate of occupancy if they do not fill their site plan requirements.
Or pay the back taxes that are owed?
The matter of back taxes and whatnot is a matter for city council to discuss. That should have no bearing on granting a variance at this point.
I got a question. Can you hear me? Stubbs?
Go ahead.
I got a question. When he spoke of the 497 feet on the northeast, okay, you saying that entrance would make requirements if it went over that corner over there, which is the northeast side of the building?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question.
All right. When you spoke of the 497 foot over in the northeast corner.
Yes,
Now, you saying that that meets the requirement of the 275?
I'm saying as a
If- if he-
practical, I'm saying as a practical matter, the only way that somebody leaving that house would be able to get into the front door of that facility because of the fencing that's around the facility, they would be required to follow the path that I've outlined on that photograph.
Okay. So when they enter that corner over there, which is the northeast side, that would be that 497 foot.
That's correct.
That's what you're saying. All right.
Yes.
I'm understanding now. I'm good.
Now, this is the Chairperson Stubbs. The question, I'm hearing you, but the variance calls for a straight line from
Yes.
door to door. Now,
Yes.
I understand the fencing and all the how you have drawn it all the way around the property. And you're saying that it meets a certain requirement, but the variance calls for a straight line, right?
It does. And what I'm suggesting is that there is a practical difficulty here in that the existing building is already built to the front setback along Beach Daily and the side yard setback along the north property line. And so there is no physical way for them to provide any additional architecture or a hallway or an additional door or something else on the property that would meet that straight line 300-foot distance. It's physically impossible.
Chairman Stubbs, again, did they know this prior to applying for this marijuana facility?
I don't have the answer to that question for you.
Chairman Stubbs, this is Norma McDaniel. At our last meeting, that question was asked to the applicant, and they said yes, they did know.
Oh. They knew, okay, they know the variance. And they want a waiver for it. Is the applicant, are they available?
Yeah, they was online.
Mhm.
His name was George somebody, right?
Yes, George Stamos.
There you go.
I was muted, folks. Wasn't able to say anything or chime in. I'm here now.
Oh, okay, Mr. Stamos.
Maybe he didn't hear no one need to repeat her question.
No, I understood it. I heard it loud and clear. Yes, we did know. But considering the situation with the building and then the positioning of the building, we thought that the straight line didn't necessarily apply to our situation because of where it stands and how you have to come into the building, considering it's, I believe the front fence may be a little over at the angled barbed wire over the top and whatnot. So in order to come in, on a straight line, you have to go over a fence, circumvent a serious security system, and go through a bank vault door. I mean, it's just to me, I'm not sure that's the spirit of that rule. And I think many of us agree with it, including the engineers at McKenna, that it's intended to be used as a source of latitude for the commission or the ZBA to implement rules and for security and safety. But having said that, from a security and safety standpoint, to all of us, it doesn't seem like it has any impact whatsoever. And I believe that that's why the rule was written, for safety and security. So in our opinion, our humble opinion, we thought that this was a good choice to go for a variance.
Madam Chair, excuse me, Mr. Chair. This is Madam McDaniel, Commissioner McDaniel. The applicant just stated that the variance would not apply to his situation. So could he explain what he meant by that?
Well, yes, I can. The line is a straight line. Well, if you draw a straight line and you have to traverse or go over fences and walls and whatnot, I mean, it doesn't make much sense. The straight line, and as far as I can read the ordinance, suggests that if it's an open straight line from door to door, well, there's no way you can get from door to door in a straight line in this situation with respect to how our building is positioned. It would take 497 feet to get to the front door. Unless, of course, you get a helicopter and you get some, channel locks and you cut up our fence. And I mean, just, it would be a serious effort to get here 275 feet. I
Okay.
just don't understand it, that's all.
Go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, though, then this building is not qualified. This building would not be qualified, so the variance would apply.
Well, the ordinance would apply of 300 feet. So,
Exactly, the ordinance would apply for the 300 feet because this building would not qualify because there's no straight line. You're saying there's no way there could be a straight line.
I understand, ma'am, but according to the way I read the ordinance, it's not the spirit of the rule, nor is it the spirit of the ordinance in this situation. It's a unique situation.
If I could chime in here, Mr. Chairman, the fact of the matter is that the grant of a variance needs to be substantiated by a practical difficulty. And in this particular case, the physical architecture and placement of the existing building creates the practical difficulty in that the applicant is willing or would be willing to provide additional space or additional architecture to be able to move that door to a location that satisfies that straight line requirement. However, in order to do that, you would actually be creating a more non-compliant situation, and a variance would be required for them to construct anything in the front yard or in the side yard setback. And it was the recommendation of the planning department that a variance to reduce the 300-foot isolation distance from 300 feet to 275 feet was the lesser of two evils. We didn't want to encourage construction of a building or a building addition into a front setback or into a side yard setback just to meet a isolation distance. And in which case, like I said, the practical matter is that, as the applicant pointed out, the only way to traverse a straight line from door to door, as it's stated in the ordinance, would require them to go through a building, through fences, and through another building to get to that door. The only way that that's practically going to happen is if you walk out and follow the path that I've sketched out on the photograph that you're seeing on your screen.
No, this is Chairman Stubbs again. I understand what you're saying, but the ordinance is written for a reason, and to ask for a variance, it's difficult.
It certainly is difficult, and that's, of course, why there is a zoning board of appeals in the first place, is to be able to discern and make decisions about matters and such questions. In this particular case, the zoning board of appeals has every right to deny the request for the variance. However, as Attorney Jones pointed out, they do need to state for the record what the reason and rationale is for that denial. And by simply stating that that you feel it should meet the ordinance is not an actual reason for denial.
Then, this is Chairman Stubbs again, then what's the purpose of the ordinance? If you're just going to usurp its writing and just do what you want to do, and I think the ordinance was written for a reason. And I understand what you're saying, but it makes it very difficult, because I'm trying to deal in the spirit of the ordinance and the variance. But you're saying in order for people to get inside of this property, they have to walk all the way around. And based on past practices with this business, you know, I don't know. They don't have a good track record as far as I'm concerned. But I'm going to stick with the ordinance the way it is. It was written that way, and I'm going to stick with it.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner McDaniel. I agree with that, and I would let the courts decide. If they want to take it to court, I would let the courts decide, because I feel that they don't meet the variance requirement of the ordinance.
Anyone else want to chime in? Any other commissioner?
I agree with the chairman, and I agree with Commissioner McDaniel. This is Commissioner Vanola Williams.
Anyone else before we close this discussion? Anyone has anything else to say?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Ida Lackman. I didn't have an opportunity to meet anybody or even to be involved in any of the discussions. So I guess there is disappointments, and I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. I apologize if I would make any mistakes. So I'd be, you'll hear me out to being nervous, but I'm the one who basically, we're husband and wife, and been really hardworking. Unfortunately, I tried to meet with one of you just to show you the building and to show what was done. I understand the situation with the wall, but I understand there is a situation we're discussing here, not about just the ordinance, but the ordinance because of the type of a business, which is a marijuana. And I know I'm by myself, the mother of 2 little kids, and I understand your concerns. But before you're going to make your final decision, just wanted to bring up a couple of things. First of all, my apologies that we brought that disappointment to the neighborhood as far as the situation with the taxes and the wall. And as far as, and I know that I understand that I apologize again from the attorney if this is not part of the discussion, but I would appreciate if you'll give me the opportunity to speak out and explain. I understand it's our responsibility and there is no excuses, but we have here, we had a challenge and we had our hardships like many other people in this economy situations. And we are on a payment plan, but we made partial payment for our taxes. And this question to discuss that before we're going to go to the city council, and in order to go to the city council, the taxes must be paid in full. We cannot even meet city council until then. So just whatever your concerns as far as that it must be paid and we will pay. And if it needs to be as conditional, we understand and we agree with that 100%. And we will make sure our partners will help in the situation to take care, but we made part of the payment. Number one. Number two, as far as the wall, in order for us to move in and to get the occupancy or even to get the city license, if you will approve it, that license is only one piece of a puzzle. In order to get the second part from the state, the wall must be done and must be completed in order to receive the license from the state. So these two concerns, which I understand brought up, and I understand your disappointment even to discuss because you already have issues with us, they cannot move anywhere forward until they will be taken care of. So just for you to understand. As far as the variance, what George tried to said that just based on his talking to the engineering departments, but I understand there is a 300 feet straight line, but the thing is that there might be many situations, and that's why the ZBA was created, just to discuss. That's why I'm asking you just not to look towards this from your feelings because you're disappointed with us, but with opportunity, new opportunity, where you can save this building. So we're gonna stay here, and it's a new business gonna be open up, and we're gonna have an opportunity. We already have a couple buildings. Obviously, we didn't move on discussion, but we want to save our business based on this business coming in. So instead of closing down, we're asking City of Inkster to give us opportunity to bring 2 businesses back. So to save our business that currently on, we want to open up in another City of Inkster building. Again, it's going to be City of Inkster. And there are 2 real estate who's already have a couple options for us. And to bring this building in a completely different step. This is not, we're not talking about just growing and smoking weeds. I've never tried in my life. And but this is a different step where it's going to be more because that's why we asking for the second license, the processing, because it's going to be more as a pharmaceutical company where we're going to bring good things to people. You know what I mean? You cannot stop people from using this just because the whole state moving on, along with the federal and other states into this, and we cannot stop these businesses. But we coming here with a processing license, and that's what we are looking for, to bring the good things to people who in need to save lives, as far as diabetes, cancer, people who is in pain. And there are good things about this business. It's not just about that old-fashioned way where we can
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I think you're getting off into the weeds here. We want to stay on track with this variance. You're giving us the history and what you intend to do with the business, but I want to stay on track with the variance here. I understand that there's some good things that this business may or may not bring into the City of Inkster. I understand all the medicinal things that marijuana can do. I understand all that, but our point tonight is with the variance. This is what we're talking about, the variance.
I understand, but we tried to bring up this meeting 3 times, and 3 times this question's been asked, you know what I mean, as far as the wall and the type of a business and tax. That's why I tried to bring it up. And that's why I tried through McKenna and just to so you can step in and take a look from inside. I don't know if you had a chance or not. I didn't have a chance to meet anybody, even though I've been here this week from morning to evening. But I tried to show that I understand the 300 variants, but there is a reason for that, for safety. So there is a key to anybody cannot walk that 300 feet door to door. And in our situation where the engineer is trying to explain that it's impossible, and that's why we're discussing that in order to get in door to door, you have to go through that actual house walls, through, you know what I mean?
We've gone down that path before. We understand that, going around the property. We're not going to rehash that again. We understand all that. Again, if there's a problem with the variance, if you go back to the ordinance is written the way it is for a reason. If there's a problem with your business and the ordinance, maybe you need to go back and talk to the people that wrote the ordinance. We're only complying with the ordinance, the way it is written. That's what we're making our decision on.
No, the decision, no, if we would have met, that's the situation. If we would have met the ordinance, then it wouldn't go to ZBA. The reason it's going to ZBA because there is a problem to meet that, and that's why
I understand that. That's not what I said. I said we are adhering to the variance. You came to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance, and we're looking at your building, and we're looking at the ordinance the way it is written. And this is what we're doing. We're going by the ordinance at this point in time. We're looking at it, even the spirit of it, we're looking at everything. And the zoning board of appeals, this commissioner, has made its decision. So we're, you know,
And I respect.
as far as, you know, any other discussions, you know, I think we have just about ran its course on this.
Mr. Chair, can I add one point? This is the city attorney.
Yes, City Attorney.
My job is to defend the city of Inkster from all financial threats, litigation, et cetera. I heard our planner indicate that he did not believe in his opinion that it was sufficient enough basis to deny it based on the ordinance as written. So I want to win. If this applicant files in circuit court, my job and our firm's job will be to successfully defend against any circuit court action. So I would just ask again that the members indicate with a little more detail why they are voting against the variance, and not just because the ordinance is as written. There are some arguments, but I think we need to articulate them a little further. And I can ask Mr. Gorenflo if he believes that we have enough evidence on this record in support of our vote to deny the variance. Because if we do go to circuit court, I want to win and minimize the legal costs to the city of Inkster.
Okay, this is Commissioner Vanola Williams. This is a question to the attorney. What other basis would there be that we would have to base it on other than the ordinance?
Well, there's a practical reason for the ordinance.
Okay.
The 300 feet from, I believe, door to door is the reason the ordinance is written, but the practical effects of why that's placed in the ordinance would be reasons I would like to articulate. I would ask that the members stay away from the past history of the business owner, because that would not be a sound reason. While I understand the reticence of the members based on the past history with this business, I would ask you not to use that as a basis for the denial of the variance. So if I could just ask the planner to indicate if he could opine as to the practical reason for the 300 feet is, and then we could, based on his answer, maybe articulate just a little more, so I have a sound record to defend if a lawsuit should commence.
Okay, well, I have another question for you. When you say 300 feet from door to door, what door are you speaking of to the front door?
Member Williams, I would defer to the planner. I don't know if I misspoke, but he can speak more to the.
They've been saying door to door, and I was just wondering, are they talking about the door that's on the south side of the building to the door on the north side of the building, or the door from the closest house that the business butts to? So I'm just wondering what door to door, what is the other door?
Yeah, and because I haven't seen the site plan, that's why we'll have to defer to the planner.
Okay, would you refer the question to him?
Yes, ma'am. The reference in the ordinance is from front door of the nearest residence to the front door of the business.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yep. The rationale for coming up with a 300-foot isolation distance, I can't speak to the rationale as to why that decision and why that number was chosen. And I can't speak to why it was chosen to be worded as a radius, radial distance instead of a direct line of pedestrian access or a pathway, unobstructed pathway. I've seen it in other communities where it's written like yours is, radial distance. And I've also seen it written as a traveled path.
Hello, did we lose?
You still there?
Sorry about that. I'm having some Wi-Fi connectivity issues of my own. The fact of the matter is the ordinance is written for a reason so that there are rules to be followed. In this particular instance, the applicant is coming to you with a plan that has been reviewed by the Planning Commission for a business that's permitted within this district. And in order for them to accomplish this, they need to be able to locate a door as far away as they possibly can, given the existing circumstances and the existing site dimensions. The practical difficulty is that they have no other recourse in terms of where they can put this door that would satisfy that specific requirement. So I would suggest that the Planning Commission has provided an approval of this site plan with a recommendation or a condition that it receive this variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals in anticipation that they would grant it, understanding that there is the practical difficulty of the building placement.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner McDaniel, and I'm speaking to commissioners. I've been on the Planning Commission for many years, and I've been on the Zoning Board for many years. And I have never been asked to articulate further the reason to deny or grant a variance. I've never seen a city attorney attend our meetings before, and so I stand by my decision.
Anyone else has any other discussion?
Well, this is Chairman Vanola Williams. I guess I just have an opinion or a statement, not a reason. But if it's the Zoning Board of Appeals' responsibility to uphold the city ordinances and to decide, we don't write the ordinances, they're already in place when we take our positions, to either abide by the ordinance or subjugate the ordinance, then I don't know why we would have to list any other or articulate any other reason other than it's our position or our job to abide by the written ordinances, to either approve or disapprove.
The way the ordinance is written?
No, what I'm saying is I don't know why we would need to articulate why our decision, if the applicant chooses to appeal it to circuit court, why would we have to articulate anything other than it's our job to go by the written ordinances, to either approve or disapprove a request.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Mr. Chair, I'm just trying to put us in the best position to win any litigation that may follow. It's certainly within the commissioner's role to articulate or not articulate. But again, I'm just looking to put the city in the best position should we have to litigate this matter down the line. I'm not advocating for one position or another, other than to support the city of Inkster.
Oh, I truly get that. I understand that. But I guess I'm just confused as to if it's our position or if it's our job or our responsibilities to follow or go by the ordinances that the city has put in place. And if we choose to deny because it's not according to the ordinance, why would we have to come up with a different reason other than we're abiding by the written ordinance? I guess
Understood. Thank you, Ms. Williams. I understand.
I
I understand.
It's like, well, our job is to look at the ordinance, the plan, the request from the applicant, and make our decision, our best guess decision based on the ordinance that are put in place. Why would we have to come up with any other reason other than what the ordinance says? This is why the commission is here.
So if I could just,
Mr. Chair.
If I could just jump in for 1 second. So in this particular case, the ordinance is the ordinance, and the Zoning Board of Appeals role here is to, or part of their role is to interpret the ordinance. And in this particular case, the applicant is coming before you seeking relief from a particular section of the code, a very specific section of the code of a 25-foot relief from this 300-foot requirement due to a practical difficulty. So in this particular case, the Zoning Board of Appeals needs to discern or interpret.
Oh.
We
Did
lost him.
lose someone?
Mr. Chair, I have another question. This is Commissioner McDaniel.
But he
Oh,
was
he-
speaking, but we lost.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
He's on mute.
So sorry about that. So the job for the zoning board members is to discern and interpret whether or not the practical difficulty which is exhibited by this particular applicant is substantial enough to warrant the grant of variance. If they don't feel that the practical difficulty is great enough to support that variance, then they should deny the variance request. However, because there is a practical difficulty that we've demonstrated.
Lost him again.
Mr. Chair, I have another question. Oh, he's coming back again.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I live out in the country, so sometimes my Wi-Fi is not exactly reliable. So, I was just stating that it's the job of the ZBA to determine whether or not the practicality substantiates the grant of the variance or not.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I have another question to the other commissioners.
Yeah.
If we approve this variance, what would happen if another applicant came to us and asked for a variance similar to this variance? We'll be setting a precedent. So how can we deny someone else if they don't meet a variance, but we're going to approve this variance? This is to my commissioners. I'd like to hear from you.
Well, this is the Chairman Stubbs. It will definitely set a precedent, and it would be hard to deny anyone else once we approve this. I mean, once it's in writing, it would be quite difficult. Now, I don't know how the other commissioners feel about it, but it would set a precedent.
I would suggest that each case that comes before the Zoning Board of Appeals is going to have its own unique set of circumstances. So in this particular case, it's very unlikely that you would have another applicant coming forward asking for the same sort of relief, given exactly the same set of circumstances that this particular piece of property exhibits. So I would not be concerned about setting a precedent with this decision.
Mr. Chair, I would be concerned about it because we've had applicants come before us before and asking for similar variances. So I would be concerned about it.
Anyone else? Is there any further discussion? No one speaking. Move to close this discussion.
I move to close the discussion.
Support.
Probably moving support to end this discussion. Could we get a roll call vote? Madam City Clerk?
For what?
Yes. Mac Williams. I'm sorry, Mac Willis. Forgive me.
How do I get to it?
Mr. Willis, you still there? Commissioner Willis?
It looks like we've lost him.
I'll come
Okay.
back to him.
He there.
Okay.
Member Vanola Williams,
Yes.
Member Ruth Williams,
What are we moving to close the discussion?
Close this discussion,
Yes.
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 Member McDaniel,
Yes.
Member Alden.
Yes.
and Chair Stubbs.
Yes.
Did we totally lose Mr. Williams? Mr. Willis?
I believe we lost him a little while ago.
Yes, we lost. Is that him back?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's back.
Mr. Willis? How do you vote to close discussion?
Yes.
Okay, the vote is 6-0.
Very well. The discussion has been closed. We're gonna move on to the next item, which is new business. New business. Commissioner Williams, Ruth Williams,
Yes.
any new business?
No. No.
Any miscellaneous business? None, hearing none, move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Second. Probably moved and supported to adjourn this meeting. Do we need a roll call, Madam City Clerk?
No. We
Okay,
can have a voice vote.
okay. This meeting is now officially closed until the next meeting.
I'm sorry, Chairman, how was the matter of the variance dispensed with? Was it tabled, denied, or approved?
Madam Secretary, City Clerk, what was the vote what was the vote
It was
for?
denied.
denial? Okay,
It
it
was
was denied.
denied by a 4-2 vote.
That answer your question, sir?
Yes.
Okay, very good. That concludes this meeting.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. And thank you for your participation.